Welcome back, friend. Amanda here, and I am so grateful to have you back at Unbottled Potential. I am just reflecting. This is episode 5 for me, and on my launch day, I released 4 episodes. And just want to say thank you so much for those of you who binged those 4 episodes, who commented, who shared on Instagram, who rated and reviewed the podcast. I'm just so grateful and humbled. I was able to see all of those reviews came up on Apple Podcasts today, and I was able to go through them, and my heart just felt so full because I waited so long to bring this podcast to life. It was just so nice to see how it was serving you and supporting you and to hear your feedback. So thank you so much if you did rate and review. And if you have not yet, what are you waiting for? Please, please, please. I am doing a VIP event for anyone who rates and reviews the podcast within the first month. So please rate and review. What I need you to do is go to podcast app, preferably Apple, and write the rating and review, screenshot it, not because I want to know what you say, but because if you submit it, it goes into review purgatory for a second. So you have no access to it. So if you want to provide the evidence that you did a rating and review, screenshot it, send it to me over on Instagram. I am at Amanda Kuda, and I will invite you to a really rad event I'm hosting on August 30th. And we are going to do some training. We're going to do some celebrating. You want to be there. And anyone who does a rating and review in this first month of August 2022 gets invited. And if you are listening to this after the fact, please go ahead and still follow those instructions. I will have a really awesome meditation I recorded for you that you can get access to if you share your rating and review. So thank you so much for doing that. That is how shows like this get recognition and gain steam and get in front of the people who need to hear them most. So I appreciate you and your efforts there. So let's get on with it. Today, I am sharing with you the truth about how boring life is without alcohol. Now, this episode is based on a viral article I had over on the platform called Medium. I wrote an article of this title. I'm going to share some of the bullet points with you today. And when I first wanted to stop drinking, one of my big fears was that I was going to be boring as an individual and that everything around me would seem boring and not fun. And I wouldn't be able to have fun and be fun. And I just was a mess. I didn't know what life would look like without alcohol in the picture because I had spent so much time, investing my energy in becoming this party girl persona. And I know that this will resonate with many of you because you've had the same fear. And what I want to tell you is that, your current life as it is, the way that you are living it probably would and will feel boring and disconnected without alcohol in the picture. And that is my hypothesis because you are getting a nudge from your inner guide that is calling you up to something bigger, something better, calling you to live more authentically, calling you to stretch into a new version of yourself. And when you reach that version, the things that you used to do and the things that you used to spend your time doing honestly will appear to be boring. And it will be the ending of an era. And that will feel nostalgic and sad and weird. And I just want to brace you for this to help you understand what it is that you are actually experiencing. It is not boredom and the end of the world. It is actually a growth edge and a place for you to recognize where you have potential that has been left on the table. And this podcast is all about potential. And I want you to stretch and grow into that. And if you're always afraid of what you're leaving behind, basically, then you'll never get to where you're going. You can't live life looking in the rearview mirror. And yes, many of those experiences that you had when you were drinking as a rite of passage felt exhilarating and fun and interesting. And as you grow older, those same experiences will feel less so. And what I would hypothesize is that alcohol has stayed in the picture in order to make those situations still feel entertaining to you, even though they probably aren't. Sober, you probably wouldn't have as much fun doing some of these things. And, my friend William Porter, he wrote the book Alcohol Explained, and hopefully he will be on this podcast at some point. But he has, I think he has like a quippy little sense of humor. And he says something in his book that might resonate with you. And that is, alcohol doesn't make things more interesting. It makes your mind stupid so that things that would otherwise have bored it are suddenly enough to occupy it. Oof, let me read that again. Alcohol doesn't make things more interesting. It makes your mind stupid so that things that would otherwise have bored it are suddenly enough to occupy it. Boom. Okay. So you are doing essentially things that your mind is too dulled by, and the only way to tolerate it is to drink your way through it. Okay, and I know that might sound in your ego. That might sound a little egoic, but it's true because you are intelligent, you are capable, you are giving yourself far less credit than you deserve, and you are putting yourself in situations where your brain is understimulated intellectually. Okay. So I'm going to give you three reasons why boredom might just be a signal. What if boredom is a signal and you've been taking the wrong action by drinking your way through it? What if you have been stifling down boredom with alcohol rather than embracing it for what it is? Okay. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to think about is that your brain craves stimulation. And all you do when you drink alcohol is you make dull situations less so. All right. So, kind of like my friend William Porter says, it makes your mind stupid, right? It makes things that weren't interesting seem interesting because all of a sudden your mind is diluted a little bit. And here is the thing, if you take a fully functioning brain that deserves and wants to think you know, um, and fantasize and get creative, and you stifle its ability to do so, it's like putting a tiger in a cage. It does not work. It does not work. And your brain wants to think, it wants to conceptualize, it wants to be challenged. And every time you dilute it down with alcohol, you not only minimize its ability to do so in that moment, you minimize its ability to do so overall. And for a brain that is so capable and it is craving stimulation and wanting to reach its full potential, you're just doing yourself a disservice. So, what I believe is that right now, what's happening is your inner guide is saying, yo, sister or brother, um, we are tired of undervaluing ourselves. We're tired of dumbing ourselves down. Let us out, let us fire at optimum capacity, and let us show you what we've got. And to do that, you can't keep hanging out in these same situations. You can't keep small talking and gossiping and doing all of these low value exercises that are often what happens in drinking circles. Sure, there's probably a highbrow intellectual conversation here and there, but your brain wants more stimulation than that. And I will tell you from looking back on the conversations I was having when I was out with my drinking buddies, for the most part, it was gossip. It was just not high caliber conversation. It was superficial. We weren't talking about things that were really, really helping my brain to expand in any way. And that's what our brains are for. So let's give them the opportunity to do what they want to do. Okay. And let's embrace boredom as a signal that we're just in a situation that our brain is not stimulated by. Okay. Also, we are wired for genuine, fulfilling human connection. And alcohol makes your friends stupid and disconnected. They might be perfectly amazing, cool, wonderful, expansive people, but when you put you and your friends in a room together with alcohol, you actually create disconnection. You're all in the same room, but your souls are somewhere else, right? You're not fully sunk into that moment. And you are not being, even though some people think that alcohol helps them be a little more genuine and authentic and loosened up, you're not, because you're playing a character. You're playing a role. And when you are playing a role, you are not optimizing and maximizing your ability for human connection. I will tell you that I had so many friends and so many phone numbers of people when I was drinking. But if I really needed to get vulnerable and get real with someone and have a genuine, real conversation, it would have been a stretch to find someone who I really wanted to do that with. Yes, I had a handful of friends who I could turn to for that. I'm so grateful for those women. But for the most part, when I was out in social circles, those were not genuine connections. Those were superficial conversations. Those were, again, small talk. And my heart, my soul, I wanted more, and I just didn't know it. And part of me felt that that was too cocky or mean to admit that I was unfulfilled in these relationships. And here's the deal, that doesn't mean you have to dump and ditch all of these people. It just means that you need to reimagine how you hang out with them and stop hanging out with them in these situations. And from that point, you'll know, do I have a genuine connection? If you can hang out with someone sober and enjoy their company and have a great, stimulating conversation, amazing. Keep them around. And if you find it difficult and you're not feeling like you're connected without alcohol in the picture, then that probably means you're just not connected, right? If you need something outside of yourself to have fun or to connect, that's telling me that that person, that thing, that event, that whatever is not for you. Okay. So I want you to remember that we are wired for genuine connection, fulfilling human connection, deep, vulnerable connection. And alcohol pulls us away from our ability to do that. And so if you're finding the people who you're around boring as someone who's not drinking or someone who's cutting back or someone who's taking a break, maybe number one, you just need to pull those people out of that situation and purpose to hang out with them in different situations. And if that's not available, if they're not willing to do that, first of all, then that friendship isn't valuable. And second, if you get in those situations and find that you're not fulfilled, then that should be a signal to you that this is a friendship that has run its course. It served its purpose. Doesn't mean you need to break up with them or tell them that they're boring or stupid, because they're not. They are just on a different part of the path than you are on right now. And maybe your paths will converge again. But if not, wouldn't it make more sense to find friendships that are fulfilling, to find friendships who lift you up, to find friendships who you enjoy cultivating when you're not drinking? It would. And I know that feels scary because it feels like a lot of work, and it maybe feels like you've met everyone in the place where you live and there are no people around. We will talk about this in another episode. There absolutely are. You can 100% make high caliber friends that are either non-drinkers or not putting the priority in your relationship on drinking. You can do that, and you'll be so much better for it. Your circle might be smaller, but it will be stronger. And that's what you deserve. You deserve to have people in your life who you enjoy hanging out with and you feel truly connected with. All right. Finally, your potential is aching to get out, and alcohol makes you stupid and lazy. All right. You have so much latent potential within you, within your little finger, that alcohol is stifling. That if you let yourself go as fast and as far as you can, it probably would feel a little scary at first. It would feel a little intimidating. But in your heart, I know that you have more to give than what you've been letting on. I know that you have more intellectual capacity, relationship capacity, spiritual capacity, emotional capacity, professional capacity. You have more potential in every area of your life that is available to you, but alcohol is stunting your growth. It is making you intellectually and mentally stupid. And I don't mean that you are stupid. I mean, it's making you to where you cannot intellectually rise up to your capacity, and it's making you lazy, not only because you're hungover and you just don't have the zest to get up and go. It's making you procrastinate. It's making you shoot for less than what's available to you. It's making you play small. And I hope that you are over and done with playing small, because we need that. We don't need that from you. We have too many people who are out there playing small, and we have too many people who are out there playing big that don't know what the heck they're doing. You, with all of your intellect, with all of your miraculous abilities, which we'll discuss more on some of these other episodes, you have something special, and you have been dulling it down. You have been delaying access to the rest of us, and we want to see it. We deserve to see it, and you deserve to show it to us. That is what you were made here. You made for. That is what you were put here on this planet for, at this time, in this body, with these skills. And you have been suppressing it. You've been making yourself stupid and lazy so that you don't have to try, so that you don't have to take that challenge, take that step, and have the risk of failure, have the risk of vulnerability, have the risk of what might happen if I step into this version of me. But right now I'm calling you up. I'm calling you up to the platform, and I'm saying, we need you. We need you to be that version of you. We need you to be the most self-expressed. We need it. All right. So I hope that you're seeing that, yes, while life might feel a little more boring, the current life you live might feel boring with alcohol out of the picture. That's probably because many of the things that you're doing are simply not stimulating enough for the capacity that you have. And it's time to step up and find some different situations, find some different social gatherings, find some different aspirations, even though it feels scary, even though it feels intimidating, even though it feels maybe hard or even insurmountable at times. I am here. This podcast is here. I have built my entire business around being here to clear the path for you, to hold your hand, to help you to rise up to that next level. My purpose on this earth right now is to awaken you to your potential. I cannot have you playing small. I cannot have you deluding yourself. I cannot have you dulling your own sparkle. And for what? So other people won't be intimidated by you? So you won't feel weird? I don't know why. I know all the reasons I did, and I imagine some of them are the same for you. But we need whatever weird, wonderful, goofy, amazing thing that you have. We need it. We need it so badly right now on this planet more than ever. And I hope that you will keep tagging along with me. I hope that you will join me over on social media. I hope that you will keep listening to this podcast because I have so much more to share with you. And I hope that you do get so bored of this current life that you're living that you decide to step into a more brilliant and better version. Because let me tell you what, there's nothing boring about my life now. And I got to release a lot of things that were pretty boring when I looked at them with sober eyes. But that means I made space for more exhilarating, expansive, amazing experiences. And I know that while I am unique, I am not different to the point that you can't have that too. All right. So I want you to hold that in your heart. I want you to know that there is an expansive, beautiful, stimulating, fun, amazing life out there available to you. And you've just been unable to see it up until now. And I want to help you see with a different vision. So if you are smelling what I'm stepping in, if you're feeling what I'm putting down here, I would love to have you back next week for another episode. Please go ahead and still rate, review, and screenshot, and I will send you a meditation that I made just for you. All right. I'll catch you next week.